Martyrdom is a luxury, a reprieve from service that should only come when there are no more enemies to be slain. In times of hopelessness, in times of great contemplation, most would give way to terror, to fear. In the face of decay and chaos, many would have their resolve shattered and their faith broken. This is how one order faced such hopelessness. A sister by the name of Diana von Jarl was to be made canoness and lead her first mission. Though she had fought in numerous battles, never had she felt she would be worthy of bearing the weight of command, of herself and her own capabilities in the hands of the Emperor and her fellow sisters. She knew she could strike well, but as a leader, she felt unqualified. Earlier, she had spent many nights in prayer alone, fearing for the responsibilities she would carry and the lives it may cost. She even considered refusing in the hopes of a more capable sister. However, she wondered if this was part of the Emperor's plan, and so instead of praying to find one more capable, she prayed that the Emperor and Saint Sylvain guide her, to teach her how to lead for her sister's sake. On the day of, though her steps were slow and quiet, she held herself with all the confidence she could muster, took the shroud of the canoness, forming her independent chapter on the moon world of Veth, a former Imperium fortification in the Demeter sector, and accepted her first mission. Her mission was to investigate the nearby former hive world of Unctuous, leading a scout patrol as an initiative for a war of faith, to reclaim it in the name of the Imperium. Nearly the whole she stood silent, only speaking in times of planning and strategy. Those Sisters of the Argent Shroud, the order she became canoness under, rely more on the strength and will of the Emperor. She felt she could assist more by practicing strategy as a leader. When the patrol landed, the air was cloudy and musky as expected. Flora and fauna emitting noxious fumes and puddles of bile like filth through the cracks of the broken remains of the former hive world. While most of the sisters scowled at the putrid and decaying heresy, Diana continued forward in silence. Though stoic in appearance, her mind was clouded with silent prayers for the Emperor's guidance, as well as remembering what bits of strategy she had the time to learn. Eventually, when coming to the remains of a crumbling and foul-tainted sanctuary, her racing mind stopped, and her stoic appearance crumbled at the sight of what she saw. Waiting across from the patrol, she first saw a noxious cloud hovering behind the fallen structure, but one more pungent than elsewhere. She never faced them, but she had learned what it meant. She prepared her sisters and gave a silent word to notify the main crusading force. She positioned a Repentia squadron on the left flank, a Sororitas Rhino model carrying the full squadron of battle sisters inside on the right. A Seraphim squadron would support from above, and she herself would hold the center, with arco-flagellants and a penitent engine. Just as battle formations were made, a bile projectile had wiped out the Sisters' Repentia squadron instantly, leaving only the Repentia Superior, and soon a horde of poxwalkers had begun to shamble her way. Seeing the danger, Diana ordered the arco-flagellants and the mighty penitent engine to assist her. The penitent engine brought holy fire to cleanse the putrid heresy in sight, then charged with mighty saw blades, with arco-flagellants mercilessly whipped and hacked at the poxwalkers with unbridled rage, allowing the left side of the ruins to be secured. The Rhino would move forward and secure the right side, and discover a squad of plague marines. The gunner mounted atop immediately fired upon the heretics. but each shot that made their mark saw the wounds close with putrid flesh as they were made. The Marines fired back at the powerful tank, their presence weakening its powerful armor, then charged with plague knives and power fists. The squad was ordered to exit, but it was nearly too late. While the Rhino struggled fiercely, it eventually fell to the Plague Marines, destroying it before the operator could detonate the engine in a holy pyre of martyrdom. Witnessing the Rhino's fall, along with the death of the Repentance squad, had weakened the sisters' resolve. Diana felt herself frozen at the wrecking casualties. The Seraphim squad secured the rooftop at the center of battle and reported to Diana not just another Plague Marine squad, but also the vile presence of the Herald of Nurgle himself, Typhus the Traveler. Diana sent another signal at her position, warning of the presence of Typhus on the field of battle, then did her best to maintain order with her patrol. As the Arco-Flagellants and Penitent engines hacked and sawed down the Poxwalkers down to the last one, the second squadron of Plague Marines fired and hacked at the machine of purifying agony. Typhus then approached the large engine, and with a powerful yet effortless strike, cleaved through the large mech and its penitent pilot. The last Arco-Flagellant facing down the numerically and physically superior Marines was cut and hacked. The Repentia Superior, frustrated and furious by Diana's indecisiveness and lack of action, decided to take the opportunity and charge the Plague Marines, surviving many blows and dealing heavy cracks with her neural whip to the heretical Marines before falling herself. Meanwhile, the Seraphim squads attempted to rain fire down on the forces of chaos and decay, suffering 2 casualties of their sisters, and the Battle Sister Squadron on the right formed up, pinned against a wall, to open fire with a full rapid assault, only able to bring down one of their ilk kind, to which the Marine squad responded, martyring nearly half the squad, and their charge leaving only 3 alive. One squad sister fled, abandoning her sisters and the God Emperor. Diana fell to her knees in shock and terror. She felt she should have listened to herself the first time, that she was not worthy of her role, that she was not ready for such a burden, and that now her sisters were dying needlessly against a far superior force. She had failed her sisters. She had failed the crusade. She had failed her order. She had failed the Imperium. And she had failed the God Emperor of mankind. Diana felt she was ready to pay penance for the death of her sisters to whom she was responsible for. Yet in that moment, as if the Emperor himself gave her a sign, she heard the call of reinforcements. She rose to her feet once more and raised her official rod, a shining silver light from its peak. She rallied the sisters, empowering the survivors' bullets and weapons. She ordered the Seraphim squad to cut off the heretic zone of deployment, preventing Typhus's own reinforcements. Then Diana did as she should have done earlier. She drew her power sword, charged against the Plague Marines in time to save the Sister Squad Superior, and cleaved a mortal wound into the Plague Marine's torso. Reinforcements arrived and cleared the area, eliminating the plague-ridden heretics. At the end of the battle, few survived the patrol, save 3 members of Seraphim's, the Battle Sister Squad Superior, and Canoness Diana herself. While scouring the remains of the battle, while his small company was destroyed entirely, Typhus himself was not confirmed dead. Diana and the survivors were praised for having held out and for facing Nurgle's own herald, along with his Death Guard company. Diana requested that she assist the Hospitallers in cleansing the bodies of the dead and in their burial. Martyrdom had allowed them their rest, though too early as enemies of the Emperor and of mankind still walked. Diana would now strengthen her resolve and work to prevent such needless casualties in her future battles. This moment she would allow to be detailed in full, to show the mistake of allowing fear and doubt to cloud your thoughts, but to instead be sure in body and in spirit that you are capable, and to lead with fury and strength, to not be held by how the leader ought to be seen. Learning from the example of higher sisters such as Morven Val, she would fight and lead by example and strategy, rather than behind an attempt to organize the horrors of battle. This, she knew, would allow her to be of best service to the Emperor and her sisters. This would be how she would follow Saint Sylvanas' example, and this would be how she would found the Order of the Lunar Veil, to act as a calm and serene light in hopeless night.